Hello, fellow humans. I decided to start off with a current chart of the sky, but in like simple form, in text form, right? Just so I could help you guys understand transits a little better. So, transiting planets are the moving planets as they are currently in the sky, the ones that are in rotation. And when we look at transits, we're looking at what the rotation is doing in connection to our charts, to maybe the chart for the country or the city we're in. You can look at the chart by itself in regards to big world events. Like, hey, what's going on right now? Uh, like social changes, which are meant to come along with Uranus and Taurus. That's a change in the wealth, like a redistribution of the wealth, but how we look at money, how we earn our money, like, and this is collectively, how we build, how we treat the earth really is important. But whenever you see Uranus, it's a collective thing. So right now, we have a million planets in Aries. That's what it feels like. The sun is in Aries. The sun is always going to be the focal point. So to explain how this affects us here, say we are in a video game, my favorite analogy, right? Certain uploads are put into the game in the simulation to trigger a reaction in your chart. So if you are someone who has, and I have an example ready, right? Heavy Aries in your chart, like our friend Kanye here. Now that four planets have entered the sign of Aries, the house where Aries resides is lit up. In his case, it is the 10th house of his career, his reputation, his legacy. He's been very busy lately in regards to these things and saying uh, statements which go along with Mercury, your thoughts, your repressed thoughts, because that's retrograde, for things that have been bothering him for a while. With Chiron conjunct his Mars, this is the wounded healer, right? This is the thing you still salty about no matter how much you heal, but you can help other people who are still salty about the same thing because you have this gift, right? It's against his Mars, his personal power, and how he's wielded it in other times. It feels like, because people who have Mars and Taurus, they're usually very, very slow to anger, but once they get there, there's nothing you can do to stop the bull. So with Chiron against that, it's like every thought that he didn't let himself have when he was actually mad about something is coming up, and suddenly he just needs to get that all off his chest, but he needs to do so in a worldwide fashion because that just happens to be where the Aries in his chart is being activated. If he was someone who had Aries in 12, he'd be having nightmares about the things that was bothering him. If it was Aries in second, it's very possible that he would be creating a project of some sort to express these things. If it was Aries in fourth, Kim might have called the police. So it really varies based upon how the frequency or the energy, just imagine an energetic bolt. We are all radio receivers. Think about how you pick up a radio station. Your Aries house is picking up the strongest signal right now into whatever house you have Aries in. So that's the sun, which is at the 0th position, right? That is setting the tone for what's going to occur for the rest of the month. Today was all about like theme day, like the season premiere of an episode. Tomorrow, when the sun goes into the position where it's the first degree of Aries, it's going to be about self. You're going to be thinking about yourself, coming up with what you're doing physically, your identity, your ego. Like tomorrow's going to be a test. And then the day after that is your money. Like all of these things get triggered as it goes through the 30 different degrees. That way, a whole house gets developed and you learn a new skill. The skill that you are particularly learning this month is about yourself, your physical body, your sense of self, your identity, what you want, like all like in your face, because it's you versus you. So I kept the cards out that I had, even though this is a new week, because I didn't get to do the learn a new skill, just say yes video, but I think it's going to go with this. So Aries is important because it's your Cardinal energy. Cardinal energy is like a commander. It's the lead of the ship. It takes action. It moves, as opposed to mutable, that's sort of flip-floppy, and fixed, that is, I mean, it's just that, it's fixed. It doesn't move. It's set in its ways. Aries is here to get shit started. It is the first fire sign. It is the most immature, but it's like the, How to Train Your Dragon is like the intermediate. But when you first get that untamed dragon, that's Aries energy. It's just flying everywhere, setting shit on fire. Okay. So as you move through the sign of Aries for the next 30 days, recognize that as you versus you, and everything else is an external reflection of that, especially because we got Venus, which is self-worth, how you make your money, your magnetic ability to attract things to you, and your actual like physical earnings, your property, right? Right now, it's retrograde in Aries. So what are you considering there? How you feel about what you got in life and what you've earned for yourself thus far, how you feel about yourself. This is like you taking stock, but you are the inventory. Also, we have Mercury in Aries, retrograde. That means it's running a little bit slower. It's running backwards for you to review. Anytime you see one of these R's, that's just something running backwards, except for the North Node, which always runs that way. It's like a countdown. I haven't figured out what that's about, but that's a whole nother video anyway. So Mercury in Aries, this is you rethinking everything you thought about yourself just to make sure you are in alignment with who you actually are. And like I said, depending on what house Aries is in, the way that that will be revealed to you will be based upon that positioning. So with Mercury and Aries for him, for Kanye, everything that he's saying out loud, just his gripes and all that thing, his feelings, the way that his persona or identity will be modified after this is through the reflections of how people start treating him when he goes out in public, when he goes out to do his job and stuff like that. Nobody goes through any of these transits without being hit, because it's a part of the pieces or components of the game. Nobody avoids the wheel. We're all existing on the zodiac wheel. So the last thing that we have in Aries, right, is Chiron. And it's been here for a while. So healing your beliefs right now, because it's at the 21st degree about yourself. But it's not going to be at that 21st degree for long. So I'm just going to go with Chiron in Aries is you healing your inner warrior, your ended, your inner wounded self, if you will. It feels like if your power was disabled, this would be the time that you would be getting in touch with what made you felt like you lose your power, because it's never really gone. It's just all of our thought process. You might have had a particular situation where you felt powerless and you couldn't do anything, but nobody can ever truly take your power from you. You have to surrender that. You have to like give it up. So this would be times that you felt, or reflections on times where you felt powerless and how to take that back, or activities that allow you to take that back. This is like somebody who got like jumped in school, and then Chiron hit Aries and they decided to go take martial arts. Like you're trying to figure out how to fix the thing that still has you a little bit tight that you didn't get over yet. So the moon is the quickest moving body, right? The messed up thing about the moon is think about how the moon moves the tides and stuff, right? You can't fight that. We got the water in us. The tide is within us. The moon controls your emotional foundation, the way that you feel inside. So every 3 days, you're going through a new house being activated. So when it's in the first house, how do I feel about myself? When the moon is in the second house, how do I feel about my house and my money? When it's in the third house, how do I feel about where I live, who's around me, who I talk to on a regular basis? It's just you're constantly being pulled through the emotional experience, because that is one of the biggest features of having a human life and being able to be here. You get to feel. You don't get to feel in any of the other vibrations because they're not dense enough. Down here, you get angry, you get sad, you get mad. You get to feel the heavy emotions that allow you to feel like the full benefit of the positive ones that you actually sort of got tired of feeling when you're up there in perfection. So look at silly us deciding to be down here and suffering just so we can appreciate God more. The nature of humans, right? So Mars is in Cancer. Ooh, that probably ain't help him out either. Mars is in Cancer at the 20th degree. It's at a Scorpio degree. That means whatever you got beef for, you and your feelings about, if there's something you got a grudge about, while Mars is at the 20th degree, you're going to be sitting on it for a little bit, just trying to figure out, like, yo, this might be one of those days when you're sitting in the corner, like, yo, all the people that betrayed me, they're going to get theirs, right? So his would be, because what degree was it? You always got to check the degree to see what it lands next to. So Mars at the 20th degree in the sign of Cancer puts it in his first house. Other things are pushing his feelings. Oh, his family matters. So whatever's going on with his family life, his children, his home, just behind the scenes, is the driving factor for what's controlling the Aries. Mars controls the Aries energy. In his regular chart, just on his own, he doesn't even get mad like that. He just stews. And because it's in Taurus, most of the time he's going to do it as an artist, especially with his Venus next to it. He expresses his emotions, his heavier emotions, his more controversial emotions through his artwork, which is his wound, his salty wound. He's about to have a Chiron return. I wonder what that means. Not being understood in your artwork, possibly. Let's not forget that also during this time he just dropped. Why is this still in this? Ooh. Thing called bullying, I mean. Appropriate for ram season, right? I think it's always interesting how we're still doing or like going through the astrological stuff, even when we have no awareness of it. Like you can't stop it. It's just happening anyway, whether you're aware or not. We just have the advantage now of sort of figuring out like, oh, this is all thrown at us. Great. That makes it better and way worse at the same time. So Jupiter is in Gemini. Should be learning something that helps your mind expand or changes your thought patterns. I'm going to pretend I don't see those lines right now until I'm done this part and I have to make the screen bigger because that's annoying, but at least my box is little and you can barely see it. So that goes along with learning a new skill, which is the theme of the card pull I'm going to do today. Everybody is supposed to be learning a new skill during this retrograde eclipse season, like a new level up, a new upgrade for every individual as a part of their arsenal, because it's in the sign of Aries, which is where your arsenal is in the chart. The first house represents all the weapons you have at your disposal. So the other planets are generational, like they're for everybody to feel the. So Saturn is in Pisces. That's emotional restriction or being tested on your unconscious emotional patterns, right? Neptune is at the 29th degree of Pisces, which means it's about to enter Aries. When Neptune enters a place, the karma, it's like a funnel opens up. So all the karma you owe from other times or the stuff that is owed towards you begins to get poured out into that area. When it comes into the first house, it's like I'm getting, because I'm channeling for this, like an upgrade in your aura, like a glamour, if you will, but dependent on what your actual spiritual or celestial body is supposed to look like. So that could register as like a DNA upgrade in some way, shape, or form, actually. All right, guys, I'm going to go to my regular camera so I can do this pull now. But I'm gonna pause this so I can fix my camera. Y'all will never know. Right back in there. So, let me move notebook and stuff. Guys, I guess actually preparing for this new year, which is what actually the beginning of Aries season is. Everything else before this was like the completion, the closing out of what started around April of 2024. So this is the first time I am going to be doing this. But it's been like 2 weeks since I had this idea on my mind. And I was like, I'm going to do it because it feels important. But now, since it is the beginning, with all this energy here, I feel like the best way that I can be of service at this time is through doing this for each sign. So the significance of your sun sign is this is your player in the game, the focal point, the character you are developing and using. This is your Sonya Blade, your Mario, your Donkey Kong, Zelda, all them, whichever character you were playing with. Uh, this is going to represent what new skill your character is loading into there, probably through that Jupiter and Gemini. But this skill, and I've been getting this in everybody's readings as I was doing the readings in accordance with that learn a new skill thing, everybody is getting a skill that is helping them bridge the gap between where they are now and what they want to manifest. So whatever I say today in this, based upon your sign, this collective, and most of the time, because you have the same sign, y'all are getting the message at the same time because you are a part of the hive that your sun is connected to, right? But you can grow and evolve and learn this skill, or you can choose to repeat another cycle that will end up telling you why you should have took the time to learn this skill. So it's the difference between accepting the link between you and your manifestation, accepting the task that you must undertake in order to get the thing you want, or you can say, all right, I'm just gonna, that's too much. Maybe I want to manifest something else. Free will. But I am here to deliver the message. I should be a reinforcement of what you have already been hearing within yourself as a reflection, and not putting the idea in there like, yeah, you should open a bar. If you have not already been thinking about opening a bar, you should not just open one because the Aquarius reading told you to open a bar. Not unless it was already on your mind. It must resonate for you to be like a vibrational match. So I am going to start with, I guess most appropriately, Aries. So what new skill should Aries focus on or learn during this time? What new skill will Aries be learning? The question might be so important. I'm doing 3 decks today, guys. The money manifestation, but it's also wealth manifestation. So I'm doing that in connection to the Venus in Aries. I'm going to do the repair and evolve, like for what you need to heal or what this is healing. Because most of the time when you're not manifesting something you want, or you need a certain amount of power behind you to do it, you have to transmute or heal something in your light body in order to make that energy available to bring that into your reality. And then the last one I'm going to use is the character oracle, because I feel like that'll give me personification of the skill, like to understand the attribute that you are developing. Something creative. So the next one, what does Aries need to heal in order to embrace this new skill? That one I'm keeping it simple with one color. What does Aries need to embrace within themselves? I just heard you can use this for your rising too. It might even assist you to combine the information from what I say for Aries energy, and I'm just gonna say energy blanket, whatever. If you have a lot of Aries energy, this is for you. It'll apply to sun, rising, or strong Aries signature. It might rule your chart. Let's see. All right. So you are learning a skill that is not the norm. It's going to be something very unique specialized to you, which makes sense because Aries is the pioneer energy. It is the person coming up with things. I just explained that it was a cardinal energy, like it is the initiator, it is the go-getter, right? I find it also funny that the other card that popped up here was reckless, right? Because that is something that the Aries energy is known for, being rash, brash, doing things on a short fuse, impulsively. It says uncontrolled spending habits and impulsive purchases are making your financial journey harder than it has to be. So, you learning a skill that has to do with money, because creativity was the card that came out for repair and evolution and growth. But the creativity to me feels like possibly the niche skill that you're working on is likely a creative one, just one that's not for everybody. Like for the person who came up with the t-shirt idea that actually like really went somewhere because his t-shirts were great. That sort of niche type thing. But it's like while you're developing this skill, you gotta do better with your money. You can't have it that make it back mentality, because you might not be just making it back while you are cultivating the gift that is going to literally give you a key to something's like your own lane. It's like you might have been in the lane with everybody else now, but this Aries energy is hitting and it's putting you in your own, like your whole lane. Not everybody else is going to be in the lane with you. Sorry, I'm getting this to focus at all. This could even represent you carving out your own lane, because look at the character card that came up. It says courier, but the message I felt was messenger. But it says messenger of connections, delivery, information transmission, gift. That could also mean you might do some delivery work in between, just on a serious thing. Because look, he has multiple delivery things in his hand, right? But it also still feels like possibly through your creativity, you deliver message. So you're learning to go against the grain, pretty much. Whatever you thought you were supposed to be doing might not be that thing, but you are getting in touch with what would make you feel good, what would make you stand out. It's more important at this point in your existence, or the way the stars and everything are pulling you, for you to do something that feels more true to you than to do something that just pays the bills or takes up all your time, to be honest. It's just the sacrifice that you're going to have to make for the emotional and creative freedom that you want is going to be tackling whatever impulsiveness, that's just the word I keep coming to, whatever, fuck it. That's the feeling I get. Sometimes you just say fuck it, but it's like with money. Don't ball out during this time. Let yourself build the skill for like the next 6 to 8 weeks. Keep your stuff together and you will find a flow in your new rhythm. When the planets start moving forward again, you'll be operating in the new vibration that you have built, on the new storyline that you have built for yourself. And this can go really good. This can go really like, dang, I should have listened when the tarot lady told me to be careful with my money. Okay. Your new skill is learning how to control yourself and the amount of freedom that you want to have within balance. It's like you are being given the keys to yourself. Can you control you now that you are free? That is your message, heavy Aries energy. So next, what is next? Pisces. Okay, let's do this. Pisces energy is always interesting to me, because it's either really emotional and heavy, and I'd be like, or it's really like, fuck it, like stoner, like I ain't even here right now. Those are like the two ends: caring too much and caring like not enough at all. Like, what are you even doing? So, what new skill is Pisces learning? New skill is Pisces learning? What new skill, or what is Pisces having to heal in order to embrace this skill? What's this new skill? I always feel like drum roll, please. In between one of these. Ooh. So Pisces, it feels like you're on your detective stuff. But because look, it's spy, right? And discovery. But it doesn't feel like actively, literally on a computer, looking like on here, although you might look up stuff after you have a dream that triggers you, or after you start seeing 1111 everywhere. So Pisces, this feels very much like starting to accept your gifts, because believe and discovery were together, right? But it's faith. And literally, this first card says, when you wholeheartedly embrace the attainability of your dreams, you will find the courage to exceed the ordinary. Exceeding the ordinary is connected to your psychic gifts. Look at me trying to read and talk at the same time. I can't. The thing you needed to heal, right, was acceptance. But listen to the card. And it says, Radiant Goddess is the theme. And how very Piscean or Neptunian is that photo? Come on now, focus thing. So it says, you are an amazing goddess ready to fully understand how significant you are. Tap into your power by owning your beauty and potential by not making any apologies for it. You are discovering that you are a mystical mermaid. But this is more like literally you noticing your synchronicities, you noticing signs, and you're like, I am so psychic. I never knew it before. But that's the beauty of Pisces. You are already sort of like the channel. Oh, you know how in blood types there's like AB positive can give to this and O can take from everybody, right? Pisces would be like the universal receiver. Like they pick up everybody's energy, they pick up all the waves. You are going to finally start understanding what those waves mean, or start acknowledging them enough that you start researching, like, hey, what does this mean? I had a dream about this. And then you're going to recognize a pattern. So you are discovering a whole skill set about yourself that you didn't know was there before, because now you just have to accept and then continue to cultivate the gift. This is about believing in yourself, believing in the things that you see beyond sight. And I would recommend, I'm sensing that for Pisces, you look back at all the other times you had a dream or a strange sign and it came true, that it already revealed itself. Look back at those times when you're having a hard time, and then at the bottom of the deck for that, gifts. Like, no, Pisces, you're getting a gift upgrade, the plug. So remember, that's any Pisces energy, guys. I'm going to say the sun is the focal point, but the ascendant, or if you have a stellium, which is 3 planets or more. So am I going to go through all these like Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus? I went backwards, y'all. See, that's why I got to sing the song every time. I said Aries, blue, back the other way. So Aries, Gemini, let's do it. Ooh, what is Gemini learning during this time? What is Gemini learning during this time? What do they need to do to integrate this new skill? What do they need to repair to integrate this new skill? And last but not least, what is this new skill? All right, Gemini. Hmm. You're learning how to believe in your own potential, the power of your belief in yourself and your ability to get things done. interestingly enough, it's entrepreneur and unworthy, but the unworthy is questioning like, hey, if you don't believe that you can achieve this for yourself, how is the universe going to give it to you in the first place? This is like if you have had a bright idea, an invention, something sitting on your mind, and you want to make it happen, this unworthiness thing needs to go away because the middle card for like the healing thing is balance needed. But it's saying in your relationships, in the people that are around you, and the people who aspire, or I said aspire, inspire you and your thought process. Are you surrounded by people who uplift you and support you? Or are you surrounded by people who have small minds and keep you limited in your own ideas? This is, it feels very particular to be about a person who possibly wants to start their own business, start their own side business. To take an idea and ground it into reality is something for themselves. Because it could even be somebody writing a book, wanting to teach, wanting to take a class, just somebody who wants to take their power to the next level. And that's sort of the energy of the skill you're learning. Can I say the power of your power? Like if you were able to tackle this, why do I feel unworthy of having my own business? Why do I feel like mine won't be successful? I always have this like little storyline thing in my head. I don't know where I got it from, but you walk in the supermarket all the time and there are like 12 million loaves of bread. Not one of those people that you see on that shelf said, I'm not going to make bread because there are 12 million other people and they're there in stores and people buy them nationwide. Don't think that there is not a place for your product, your business, your thing, or there won't be. That's the bottom line. If you don't think you're supposed to have it, it's blocked. You're not getting it. So make sure you have people around you that are fighting for you, that believe in you, that back you up, because otherwise they are going to be obstacles for you. You are meant to be learning what you can achieve on your own and with a good support system around you, just based upon you using your mind, Gemini. As usual, that's your thing. Weed them out. This is air sign energy. You are to take those thoughts and then write them down and then come up with steps for how you achieve that. After that, your magic is just gone. The beautiful thing about being a Gemini is that your main power is in your words, in your thoughts, and you putting the pen to paper. After that, stuff will start to come to you. It will start moving in your way. And that is exactly what you're about to learn about how this gift of Gemini energy works for you. So, Cancer. I didn't have to sing the song. That's all. I got it, guys. So, what new skill will Cancer be learning? While I'm doing all of these, guys, I'm focused on what's going on in the next, or during the next 6 to 8 weeks while we're still in this retrograde season before everything goes back into focus. Because what's happening now is it's slow down, revision. Are you going the speed you want to go as you enter the next country? It's sort of kind of what this is asking here. Because if you're using the wrong speed in a country that's not the limit, or you over it or you're under it, you're gonna get pulled over. You can't keep going. So this is meant to assist you, like, oh, all right, that is definitely what I'm doing while we're still in the beginning of the energy, so you can adjust and go the right direction, because nobody wants to get caught up once it's back go time. So what does Cancer need to repair in order to integrate? What is this new skill? It's different every time, but it's the same spread, so I totally take advantage of my higher self. I just know it's gonna get it right. I've been doing this like for years now. I'm like, they just gonna magnetize themselves. Cards are weird. Ooh, Cancer. This is rough. I don't know. Do Cancers have a hard time with looking at themselves? Because this is very heavy. Cancer, you are also around a lot of people that might not. But in this case, all right. So Gemini felt like they were around a lot of like unsupportive people, small thinkers who couldn't understand the way Gemini's mind worked. Here, this feels like whatever emotions Cancer is in, you are attracting other people that mirror that. So if you are moody and you sort of negative all the time, which is like what this is sort of like given in that beginning, like you pick up on other people's emotions, right? So if you have any bitterness or any regret, resentment, and this tends to happen with your Cancer because you pick up on other people's feelings, you tend to take on other people's feelings and problems as your own. So it's a lot of your energy going out to others because you're trying to just, you're mothering everybody because you can literally feel, because you're a Cancer, Sun, or rising, whatever, you can feel other people's emotions, right? Because of this, it feels like there's a bit of discontent in regards to your life. Maybe you're looking at other people like, this gives me the image of somebody scrolling like on Instagram and watching people that they know or went to school with like travel and stuff. And they're like, boo. But it's because you want to be the traveler. You want to see new things. You want to go new places. And that's not going to happen with the circle of people that's around you because they are draining you, or they are also feeding into the parts of you that are unhealed. So Cancer, during this time, the new skill you're learning is how to discern your emotional bond that you have with people versus whether these people are good for you emotionally and what you're trying to build for yourself. Like, do you want to be the Cancer that has boundaries, that protects that sensitive, loving, mothering nature? Or do you want to be the drained Cancer that is sort of bitter and victimy and hates everybody else because they went after the life you wanted to go after? Because that's exactly what this is feeling like. You have the opportunity to separate your energy from the pack that no longer serves so that you can move forward to where you need to go. Learning how to separate yourself from your feelings, which is crazy as a Cancer, right? Learning how to separate yourself from your negative feelings so that you can see the bigger picture, the bigger trajectory, it even feels like, for where you're going. Look back over the last couple of weeks. What have your moves and your conversations been indicating about the direction that you are heading in? That should answer whether or not this is a message that you needed to hear this time. Because I mean, all of these ain't gonna be nice. So next we have Leo. Hey, fellow doppelganger twins. So what lesson is Leo learning during this retrograde season? What lesson or new skill? The card still say lesson. Right. What will Leo be repairing in order to integrate this skill? And what is this skill? So I think you're learning to do stuff alone. I just stuck back in my head. That traveler card popped back up in my mind. It bothered me. Like, no, Cancer's learning to fly without the pack sometimes, without somebody to care for besides their self. They're learning to be okay without other people, or that time for yourself is as important as the time that you put into relationships. So, ooh, how appropriate that for the Leo when we have a crown, right? And that says freedom of location. A truly prosperous life is one with freedom to travel and freedom to live in the location that you desire. Okay. Interestingly enough, right? See, this one was freedom of location, and then this one is taking the leap in courage, but it looks like a lady like that's on vacation, like she's traveling, and I'm directed to read this one. You have to let go of something good to get something great. Taking the leap into the unknown can be scary, but you are being called to have faith in yourself and the universe. If you want to experience the next level of success, you cannot stay comfortable. Enjoy the journey. So you are being given a blind test, and that's the new skill you're going to be learning too. Faith without sight. Handy, huh? Wanderer. Seeker of clarity. But that freedom of location, this feels like there is something that you want to do, something that you want to manifest for yourself, but you are being asked to lock in, tunnel vision. Do not look at what other people has, because the other thing that comes along with being Leo is like enemy. Like sometimes you got to deal with that queen energy, right? But that will block or constrict the freedom that you are preparing for yourself. Don't look, walk towards what you want. By doing that in this season, during this time, whatever it is that's been on your mind, like, hey, that's what I want for my life. That's what the freak I want to do. Whatever you've been seeing signs to reinforce that for yourself. That's the thing you need to focus on building the foundation for. That's like visualizing, researching it, writing down stuff about it, making it a part of your mindset, your thought processes. Until you can bring it into this reality, you keep walking towards it as if it's already waiting for you at the end. And I use this example all the time. I will continue to use it. But the Billie Jean video with Michael Jackson, when he's walking and you don't see the steps there until he steps on it and then it lights up, but he has a path the whole time. That's what this energy is for Leo right now. You are going to be learning how to walk through a forest blindfolded and not trip, not hit a tree, make it to your destination and unscathed or unscarred. You are learning how to trust yourself. And that's going to be handy going forward, because your manifestation ability is going to go like this once you don't have the block of not believing in yourself or of trying to manifest things that are not in alignment with you because you saw somebody else have it. What example can I use for this? Say you're like, oh, I need those Balenciagas. I need them because I saw somebody had them, right? There are these shoes over here that aren't going to cost you like 5 of your monthly rents that look just like those shoes, but you won't take them because you saw that this was over here and that's the name brand, and other people are going to judge you because you don't have the name brand. Now, the universe just gave you an alternate way to have the same look and to make it work for yourself and not have to put yourself in the hole. But you had to make the decision to take what's been given to you when you are manifesting it. So that's going to be pride versus what's actually going on in your 3D, what you want because you saw it versus you actually wanting that item in whatever way it comes to you based upon your vibration and what you can have. You can have the freedom to manifest whatever you want at the level you're at. And just to back up what I was saying, you see the daydream here? And then I say, think about it, daydream about it, draw about it, right? But this is letting you know that don't just keep it in your head. You have to walk towards it. If you don't start trying to make it happen, it's going to stay in your head. So that was your message, Leo. Next, we have Virgo. So what is the new skill that Virgo will be learning? And what does Virgo need to prepare in order to integrate this skill? And what is this skill? Hold on too for that. That wasn't on purpose. Okay. So animal shaman was flipped upward under that. But Virgos naturally have an ability to talk to plants, animals, the human body. Like, hey, what's wrong with you, leg? And then Virgos just know, like, hey, cat, what's going on? And the cat's just like, meow, because Virgos know. That is their gift. They are one of the original earth signs or the elements, the ones that actually thrive here because they're from here. So they have a different connection. Hold on. Do I need to go like this? I'm gonna get this one day, I swear. I swear for God. Connection. Right? So Virgo, this is you stepping into your healer abilities. Cliche, right? The healer Virgo, right? But the Virgo energy is the Virgo energy is about being of service, how to make the human experience better. This is saying that you are going to start sharing that with other people. Although Virgos have a very interesting way of giving you unsolicited advice because they know things and they're just trying to help. But in this case, you are being told to use that gift intuitively. You are going to be brought across people who actually do need your advice. Like, you are going to be attuning your heart so that you know the difference between somebody who is just wasting your energy versus somebody who can actually use the benefit of the knowledge that you have, because you got teacher and connection. This is you connecting with the people who want to know about what you're doing with diet, who want to know about the new gut health stuff that you're working on, all the little ailments and herbs and all the medical information that you have stored up in that brain, because that's what you do. You are a catalog of information, Virgo, that helps make other people's lives more practically livable, like in their day-to-day lives. Like, hey, I don't get enough water in, right? If that's your complaint, you're just hanging out with a Virgo. It's like, dun, 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 time for me to wear my cape. So for Virgo, I am feeling, if there was a time before when you felt like your knowledge or your advice was not being embraced, your energy now is being synced to those who do want to appreciate that part of you. And it's going to start with you being available to connect with people more, because I'm sensing like a Virgo energy that's like, I'm tired of helping people all the time. As the general thing here. But it's like you've been helping people who are difficult and they listen at the same time. Like, you've been going back and forth between different types of people. Going forward, you are about to, and probably because the South Node is in Virgo, you're about to help people who are what I call your charges, like your missions. Everything before now has been practiced, because some people are going to fight against you during their healing. And some people are going to be like, oh my gosh, you're what I prayed for. It feels more of the energy, and that's the heart opening here that I'm sensing that off of people who called for an angel. People who called for somebody to teach them some stuff they did not know. Somebody to show them how this connects to this. Like, oh girl, my back hurt. Well, have you been drinking water, girl? That's your kidneys. That's not your back. Like, you know what I mean? That sort of information. Some people don't know. Those sort of things make a difference. So this mission is not going to be as cumbersome as I believe Virgo thinks it is in their analytical mind. This is going to happen, as usual for you, on your everyday life, where little opportunities come up just for you to show who you are anyway. But it's important that you have a open heart during this Aries season. You release any of that anger, that rage, and at the bottom, better boundaries that came from the other times when you were given and being vamped by the wrong people, right? Because you're being asked to use all that stuff to help the people who are really, really about to need it going forward. Get ready for when this motion or this energy starts going back forward again, because you're going to be like, what the hell is going on, Virgo, on a regular basis? But it's your time to shine during this South Node in Virgo energy. So Libra, what new skill will Libra be learning during this time? What new skill will Libra be learning during this time? What does Libra need to repair in order to integrate with this skill? What is this skill? Ooh, damn, Libra. Well, I guess technically Aries energy is directly opposing Libra. When something is in opposition, it's on the opposite side, right? So it's causing a tension or a in between. So self versus the Libra sun, right? The Libra is somebody who's a partnership person. They are in a relationship even when they're not in a relationship, even if it's with a bestie. This is the one that's like they will claim a person as their person, even if they're like not in a relationship. And I'm talking about like a friend, like this is my homegirl. Nobody else can hang out with her. That's very Libra. But this Aries energy contrasting that is setting that all ablaze, is what I'm getting. I find it also significant that there are two people here because what I'm feeling is a lot of patterns of codependency that were began during childhood, right, are being released in a creative way. Because we got artist and counselor here. Finding new ways to accept the changes that you have no choice but to make. Like there were some people in relationships I'm getting that were connected to this part of yourself. They were connected to your childhood self, but they don't resonate with the healed version of you that's going in this direction. So because of that, you got to learn to be the fireman. You got to learn when it's time to let it burn. So new friends will come in, but it's time for you to let go of the parts that have you, much like Virgo, spending time and energy and your good advice on the wrong people. This feels like when you sit down and y'all trauma bond over and over again talking about the stuff that hurt y'all. That's what y'all have in common. That can't be anymore. This is like somebody who decided to stop doing drugs, still hanging out with their AA friends, and then ending up back in the hole because they keep hanging around them. You are being given the opportunity to use that very Libra energy to find a creative outlet that helps you with the energy of that transmutation, that burning away from that part of you that it's like the part of your inner child that has an abandonment mood that makes you cling on to the wrong people. So it's like instead of clinging on to a person during this time, you're going to learn how to cling on to your art, cling on to your music, cling on to your writing, cling on to whatever that thing is that lets you live life out loud instead of having to answer to somebody else. It feels like very much like Libra. You have to double check. You have to double check. This Aries energy is like, what about me as an individual? You are going to be learning to satisfy yourself as an individual in the same way that you usually find satisfaction in a relationship. That's a hell of a skill for Libra to learn and to carry if you are willing to take the walk down the difficult road that is looking at what that initial abandonment wound was. Okay, Libra, that seemed like that was supposed to be for Scorpio. That one was heavy. Okay, so Scorpio was actually up next. Then I think we only have three more. This wasn't that bad. I wasn't sure how long this was going to take, but it felt like it was something I had to do. It just kept coming up in my mind. So what is the new skill that Scorpio will be learning? and what the Scorpio needs to repair in order to integrate this skill. That was next to her. And what is the skill that Scorpio is learning? I'm a survivor. That's the song that just went through my head. But if you are a Scorpio, you are a survivor. There's no way around it. So challenging any misconceptions about you that are external or internal. This means if your enemy is inside, you have to fight against any part of yourself that doesn't believe that you're a fighter or that you can achieve what you want to for yourself. And in this case, income-wise, it has to do with you upping your income, with you making more things available to yourself. How can I make the best use of my energy is the feeling that I'm getting here. What I'm seeing visually is somebody who has like bullet points on a board, but there's a part of them internally that's like, oh, ain't no way I can do that. Like somebody who has a bunch of bills and they're like, how can I get these all paid? But when there is a will, there is a way. There's a little negative voice that's in the back of your mind, and that's whose ass you need to be. Right? That's a fighter in there. Let me hold this up. There's a fighter in there. And you are learning how to harness your fighter, how to call out your fighter. So you seeing that list of targets is supposed to make you feel like bet, and then you knock them out because you can see what your targets are, as opposed to being overwhelmed by the tasks that are ahead of you. For all the pain that you have gone through, Scorpio, you constantly have a supply, a tank of fuel that is available whenever you need to get something done in a short amount of time quickly. Because of that, it comes down to you believing, or how about this, referencing all the times you thought you were in a situation you couldn't get out of before, but you did. Because y'all have seen some lows. Y'all have seen some like, this is not good, I'm going to die moments, and you did not die because you're here listening to me. Think about those times as you look at whatever that list of bullet points is that you think you can't achieve, because learning that you can do anything you put your will and your power behind is the skill that you're being forced into right now. If you were the snake, if you felt like you were crawling, if that's the era you were in as a Scorpio, you are about to step into your, it's not Phoenix yet. Phoenix is soaring. There would have been some sort of fire here, but this feels like the scorpion, the sting, you defending yourself, you taking your position as a threat. But like not in a dramatic way, just like, yo, when this person wants something, they're gonna go after it, and they don't even have to ask anybody. Like, they got it. So you are going to be learning to believe in yourself in a whole different way. Whatever lies that have been planted in your head about what you're capable of, what you've been doing your own. If anybody ever tell you you'll never make it without me, you can't do A, B, C, or D, you are working on moving yourself into the vibration of the timeline where you are going to prove them wrong. And I know how much a Scorpio loves to prove somebody wrong. So next we have Sagittarius. What new skill will Sagittarius be learning? Let's see here. Sagittarius and Aquarius are my two favorite signs. I thought I said Leo, right? But no, I don't even count that up there. Just Sagittarius and Aquarius. So what will be Sagittarius be repairing in order to integrate this new skill? What is this new skill? When I just shuffled the heck out of these cards, and childhood wound came up again. So it's like I'm sensing every sign bleeds over into each other a little bit. So if you notice that you resonated with the sign before your sign or the sign afterwards, it's because of that cusp energy. So interesting. I'm going to read the first one, which is conditioning. It's a lock. It's a block. Have you accepted the illusory limits placed onto you by your upbringing and social conditioning? The skill that you're learning or the part of yourself that you are bringing into reality is influencer, right? It feels like you've been holding yourself back. That's not very Sagittarius. Like, y'all are supposed to be full and continuously blossoming and developing, but it feels like whatever's going on with you, Sag, lately, you have been holding back, but it has to do with that childhood wound. What wound is this? You being too much, feeling like you were too much, right? That is the childhood wound. What I'm sensing or like feeling is like a 5-year-old that wears suits. Like that's the energy there. Like, hey, where have you seen my childhood? Where did little you go? Where did the part of you that was fun and boisterous go? And that is going with this influencer here because it feels like you're going to be coming out of whatever hard shell has been on you. If you have never shared like your true Sagittarian Jupiter energy with other people, this is your optimism, your joy, your laugh. If nobody knows that you're a clown and you're funny and all this stuff, it feels like you're finally going to be breaking out of whatever stoicism that you were using to conduct yourself before this time. You were learning how to be yourself in front of other people, is what I'm getting. Because the rest of the words on influencer, a trendsetter, content creator, follower, online influence. You weren't going to reach the people you wanted to reach, go where you wanted to go, or pivot to the next level or the next phase as the constricted version of yourself that was still thriving or developing based upon, it feels like possibly a package, like the lock with some childhood stuff. That's what I'm trying to show. Like you thought you had to package yourself a certain way in order to be successful, but the key, it looks like, was just to be yourself. I was thinking about a lead. Like you're supposed to be yourself because this is the destiny card, right? And I'm gonna read it. But what got me is how it looks like the butterfly coming out of your cocoon, coming out of everybody else's estimation of you, your estimation of you. Think about how you are with the people closest to you. This is what I'm getting right now. That free-spirited, loving, playful energy, you haven't shared that with everybody else. Nobody knows that's a part of you. They know this condition, this lock that has kept part of you, possibly even what you felt was keeping that inner child safe, keeping that happiness safe because other people try to take that. But destiny says you have a divine destiny to fulfill through your career path. Your work will help elevate the consciousness of the planet. This is not small. That's a destiny card, and then this is influencer. This means you have a platform, you're developing a platform, you're getting the message that maybe you need to start a platform, but if you are taking it to the next level, if you are wanting to spread your wings, people are going to have to see that you're freedom at the bottom, that you're fun, that you're funny, that you are a person. You are not just a shell. You are not just a brand. You are not just a business. You are a human too, a human being. You have feelings. You hurt, you cry, all of those things. It's like you are adding the piece that makes other people see themselves in you, that creates a different type of connection with your fan base. Like, let me think of a great example. I have one. You know how, can I say that? I think I can say that. If you were to meet, this is probably whatever, Justin Timberlake, you wouldn't approach him in a certain way, right? But if you saw JC from NSYNC, you might say, hey, because there's sort of a personable trait in there. If you saw Angelina Jolie, you would not approach her the same way you would if you saw Cameron Diaz, because of the energy they give off. It is something about the personality and somebody feeling like they're still like a person, as opposed to somebody who is an untouchable sort of statue, something that is like a level that other people will never reach, right? I wasn't going to try to use this example, but I'm going to do it. The difference between the way you would act around Beyonce versus the way you would act around Kelly. Kelly seems very relatable, like a person, like you have a conversation. I used to call Beyonce Robo B because her answers are always very like media training and stuff. I'm like, I know she's probably a person around her other people, but that is the best example I can give right now of somebody who has a curated personality that isn't allowing them to link with their people at the deepest level. This Sagittarius energy that I'm talking to, it's time for you to show your relatability and connect with other people. So evolving your brand and yourself into somebody who is relatable and is going to make a difference through their influence. So Capricorn, what new skill is Capricorn learning? What new skill is Capricorn learning? What's Capricorn have to repair in order to integrate this gift? What is this gift? I don't know. The last one just makes me really happy. Let's see. Retirement training. That is so very Capricorn. I can't even make this up. Because Capricorn is all about legacy. What do I want for the future? What do I want for the long term? What am I building for myself? If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. That is the Capricorn energy, right? So you are about to learn a whole new research thing. Maybe you're getting into stocks. Maybe you're getting into crypto. You're learning all new stuff about what options you're going to have for the future, what you need to do to make sure you got A, B, and C connecting with D that will lead you to Z by the time you are ready to stop doing all this work that you have been doing your whole life in order to make sure that that last era is comfortable. So whatever you are learning right now is giving you a long-term skill. And just like Capricorn being an earth sign, this is a very earthly message. This is not psychic. This ain't spiritual. This is saying you are working with source right now through the things that you are learning to build your legacy. You are using your ability to co-create your psychic gifts for the long haul. Whatever seeds your soul is planting is to teach you a strategy. I'm hearing like a design that you will be able to use over the long term so that when you do finally retire, it will end up like you want to. Like the training card that popped up here literally says, you still have some new skills to acquire before you can really advance to the next stage of your career. You are in the development phase. So whatever that idea is that you've had in your mind, do it. Find out everything you can about it. How can I get this license? How can I get this started? What do I need to do next? How can I make this real? Because you are being led literally through the gate. You are going to learn a skill that will lead you to the thing. It's like whatever the skill is adds on to whatever the business idea was. Like maybe you learn how to be a researcher. Maybe you learn how to be a virtual assistant or something because you learned you're so good at looking at branding and all the other stuff. Whatever you are exploring, studying, or experimenting with will become the basis of something that allows you to get to your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that you're going for. Write down everything. I'm getting because the skill that you thought you were going to have a business with might not be the skill that you thought you were going to have as a business, but it's going to be way better than you thought. Like if you thought you were, that's crazy. Yo, I was about to say, if you thought you were the employee, you're actually the lead. If you thought you were the artist, you're actually the record label owner. At the bottom was boss. Learn a new skill. Learn the stock market. If you're in management, learn how to be a manager. Learn how to take whatever skills you have to the next level already, because you are being guided. You are seeing signs everywhere. Even if you ain't like, you're seeing very obvious messages telling you like, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You would be really good at this. And at the other end, coach, a trainer. So that's telling me that you might have a skill, and instead of you using that skill to do something, you should be coaching other people on how to do the thing you already do expertly. So if you are a chef, right, instead of opening your own restaurant, you should be opening your own academy where you teach other people how to be chefs. That's how good your skill is. You're not just meant to own one thing. You're meant to help other people. And that's going to be a part of your legacy that hooks you up for retirement. That sounds like the plug. So last but not least, Aquarius. So what new skill is Aquarius learning? What new skill is Aquarius learning? And what does Aquarius need to repair in order to integrate this skill? What is this there? Right. I'm tickled, right? Because every sign has a certain drawback, right? But the thing about Aquarius, and I don't know why this happens, is sometimes they're so entitled. That's the card that came up. Like they feel like the world owes them something. Like, but that's what's being released. It's like everything you thought was real and true about you has to be rerouted. Like for real. Entitlement was, why do you believe that you deserve benefits and privileges that you haven't earned or worked for? And closed-minded is sometimes you fail to see the infinite possibilities and opportunities that are available to you. This is the abundance card. So this is your stability, right? Your security. Your estimation of yourself has been off, is what this feels like. You need to learn more. And this is reading, but this is giving me sort of kind of like the Virgo energy of self-help books and stuff. But the difference is like the Virgo does it as a way of life. Like they love looking up help stuff. Like, oh, how can I make my day easier? Right? That's the Virgo energy. Here, the Aquarius sort of kind of thinks they know it all already, especially when it comes to them and themselves. It's like they're so intelligent. What could you possibly teach them or add to their Rolodex? The blessing and the curse, right? But that's where the closed-mindedness is. You don't know all there is to know. And the things you don't know would actually fill in the gap in your security, would fill in the gap in your foundation. Everything that you feel like you are owed would actually come to you if you step into the lane. I'm trying to think of the best way to say this, because the words on this reader are, right? Seeker of knowledge, knowledge pursuer, explorer of information. And what I'm getting here is like needs more information. Walk it like you talk it. If you feel like you deserve something, put the credentials behind what you feel like you deserve. If you feel like you are worth 100K a year, what on paper says that you are worth 100 a year? What inside of you says that you're worth 100,000 a year, right? And if you realize that there's a missing part from it, right? You must be open-minded enough to say, hey, needs more info, needs more data here. I could upgrade my computer. I could learn some new stuff that would make me more viable in the work community, in what I want to do, in the financial field that I want to move into. This feels like somebody who feels like they should be making a certain amount of money, but they're not making that amount of money, but they don't want to learn new skill in order to get to that level. So your new skill you're learning is sometimes you got to do some stuff you don't want to and have to open your mind to possibilities that you never believed were on the roster if you want to see results. Don't be afraid to grow. It feels like the energy of somebody who has grown so much within themselves, just in general, like their intelligence, their mind, the things that they know, that sometimes they forget you can never learn everything. There's always more to do, there's always more to learn. Open back up your mind. This Aquarius can use some Sagittarius energy, like open up the lock, expand, take in some new things. You might have thought you were, because remember, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, so sometimes it's pretty like stuck on it. If you thought this was the path you were going down and you ended up going down there and it didn't bring you the fulfillment, it's okay for you to say, all right, I might have to go back to school for this. Even though I went for computers the first time, maybe that wasn't the best thing. And not allow that to hurt your pride. Reassess your value of self so that you can pour that into this reality and other people can see all that excellence that is going on in your head. That's all this is saying, right? Find some new ways to express all that intelligence outside of the way that you felt was just supposed to be the one, right? It might not even be something that's normal. It keeps feeling like it's nothing you expected. But the beauty of skill building, and especially with this case, you are looking through multiple things. You're looking through different books. You're trying to find what sparks you, what feels like it'll get you to that income or that position that you are deserving of. That entitlement is not for no reason that the Aquarius energy causes or carries. It's like you inherently, in some way, shape, or form, know that you're different, know that you're here to do something that a lot of other people can do. Who doesn't want to be properly compensated for their intelligence? But you can be putting your intelligence behind somebody else's machine, and that's not where Source wants you. You might have to get some books about entrepreneurship, about other types of tech. You might have to add on to the skills you already had or learn another one. In the case of the Aquarius, you are being told, open your mind to learn a new skill, any skill. We don't care what skill. Just take on something different than what you had locked in your mind because you're blocking your own possibilities. So guys, I remixed Pisces somewhere in the beginning of this, and I'm happy this took as long as it did. I hope this was very informal for all of y'all. It's getting dark. Y'all have a good night.